Hey guys, this is Boo. I just wanted to do another video on push-to-talk cables, which is another item that's used for a voice system that can potentially fail on you, and then you have to do some repairs or make your own or order another one. So basically, a push-to-talk cable consists of wire, an input plug. Basically, it's like a 1/8 inch headphone jack, similar to that, except there's only one little indent at the bottom instead of two that a headphone jack would have. And then a push button at the end. You can see that. The part of this entire cable that you have to worry about failing is right at the connection between the push button and the wire. That seems to be the part that guys experience breaking when these do break. So what others have done is you can actually strip back this heat shrink that's on the wire, and you can try to resolder to the button. Personally, I don't. It's a lot of messing around, and I wouldn't want to waste my time with that. So what I am going to do is just make my own push-to-talk cable. Parts-wise, just a push button. I think these run no more than 50 cents. I think possibly I got mine in bulk for around a quarter. And on the push button, there are 4 little pins. You only need 2 of them. So what I do is I straighten out all 4 so that instead of the pins pointing down, they'll be pointing straight out, so that when you rest it on your finger, you don't have a little space in there, and the button can actually lay flat on your finger. So I will extend those pins straight out so that they're like so. And I mentioned that you only need 2 of them. So what you can do is actually clip 2 of them right off. The ones that you don't need, clip 2 off. And the ones that you will use, when you bend them out flat, they face in the same direction. So basically the 2 that are in the other direction you can just clip off because they're not needed. 2 different ways you can go about making the cable. The standard way would be to use the push button and then the male jack. Basically you just solder, which I've already done here to save time. I soldered one wire to one of the pins and another wire to another pin. And then basically when you push the button, it allows the current to flow through and make the connection that triggers the push-to-talk to work. Now when I got these plugs, I actually got, if you notice on here, this is like a stereo jack, and it has 2 little dimples, whereas the actual push-to-talk cable that I received only has 1. The 2 will work just fine. You just have to determine which one of the 2 pins you need to connect to. Basically, you will connect one wire, it does not matter which one off the button, onto this long extension piece here. There's a little hole in it. You can just slide the wire right through and solder it on. And then you have to kind of play with the other wire to figure out which one of the 2 pins works, and then you'll be good to go. I am actually not going to be using the male end. Since we determined that the point of failure is with the button area, I am just going to go the route of getting a patch cable, which is essentially 2 ends, both male. This one is just a 1 foot length for demonstration, but you can get these in like 1, 3, 5, 10 foot lengths. I personally use the 5 foot length. I think it works great to be able to run all the way up my arm, loop around the back of my neck, and then connect into the sound card box. So basically, I'll use a patch cable, and then I will make a very short cable that has the female end and the push-to-talk button attached. So basically, once I have this short little section, I just plug my patch cable right in, and and it operates just the same. And basically what that will do is allow you to not have to mess around with making that entire length of wire every time, since we know it generally fails at the end. You can just keep the 5-foot patch cable intact and just adjust your little section here or make a new one, because I mentioned the push button's about 1/4, and the female jack, I think I got 2 of these at Radio Shack for about $4.50, so you're looking at $2.25, another 1/4, some wire and some heat shrink. So for $3 you can make the part that actually fixes your push to talk button. So with that said, like I mentioned, the first thing I did is soldered the 2 ends of the wire on, the 2 wires onto the 2 pins of the push button needed. Next, what I'm going to do is slide some heat shrink on here. I love heat shrink. I think this stuff is just great. Basically all it does is just kind of keep the wires together, and it makes the whole unit look a little more appetizing. It's like a food, huh? I actually had to use 2 different sizes of heat shrink because the standard size that I keep on hand did not fit around the very end piece, so I a little bigger section, and then I just slid the rest of it on. So when I'm all set, I will have a strip of wire. Next part, you have to take off the jacket. These screw together. The plug screws together on the end here, so I just slide the jacket off, and I will just kind of put that on so that I don't have to worry about forgetting to put it on later. As I mentioned, one of the wires attaches to this base, and I had to determine which little pin on here that I had to attach the other wire to. So since I've done that, I will attach that to the right section. Then I use a little needle nose pliers to kind of pinch that together to hold it in place before I solder it. And the other wire, I slide through that hole that's on the base, the plug, and I will bend that over and put a little solder connection on that as well. I have this little helping hands device that I'm not sure if I can get it on the camera here. That I just basically, it helps hold stuff in place when soldering, so basically pinch that, grab my soldering iron, and we will heat the first connection. Try to get both the wire and the the pin. And got a nice solder there. Turn it over and get the back. And the connection is made there. So basically all we have to do now is test it out. So as I mentioned before, I will just use a little patch cable. Where did my patch cable go? Patch cable plugs into the little connection that I just made, and then plugs into the actual static card box. Turn on the amp, and as you can see, it's not operating because I have the push to talk connected. And then we push the button and
we will get voice.
Apparently I turned it up a little too loud, getting some feedback.
And we have voice. Push to talk cable, $3, piece of cake.
So basically, I hope that will help some people out with some of the problems they're having with their push-to-talk cables. Relatively easy to make. You know, like I said, it was a couple dollars, and it was a 10-minute video as I was explaining it to you. So, you know, easy to do, cheap. You can have extras on hand, and like I mentioned, all you have to do then is you can make these little sections here, and you're all set. So once finished, basically I'll just finish screwing the jacket on the end, and I'll hit that heat shrink with the heat gun so that it tightens up. And then how I wear this is I will use like a piece of Velcro or elastic and wrap it around here so that it sticks on my finger, and I run the wire down the top of my hand here, and this piece I use like a elastic sweatband that you see baseball players wear. That slits in there. The patch cable connects in. I generally will have another elastic band that I put around up here, loop it around my neck, tuck it right into the static card box in your chest plate. So again, hope this helps out with some of the push-to-talk issues, and thanks for watching.